Instagram came out of one, wanting to be my own boss. I was like, you know what? I want to work for myself. I want to work on ideas. I really hope I'm going to make money.
Instagram, a company with only 13 employees, bought today by Facebook for $1 billion.
Let's talk about 700 million monthly users. You guys set out to do this 6.5 years ago.
Have you noticed that your Instagram is no longer growing? An increasing number of people report no longer growing or actively losing followers on Instagram. And this has many people asking, is the platform dying? Or worse, is Instagram dead? I'm Nate the Great from TakeFlight214.com, and this is the rise and fall of Instagram. But before we jump in, please take a second to smash that like button for us. Liking and sharing these videos is the only way to get the YouTube algorithms to notice us. But with that out of the way, let's jump right in. It all started years ago when Mark Zuckerberg offered a job to a college friend of his by the name of Kevin Systrom. Mind you, these were the days before Facebook blew up, so after getting bad advice from one of his college professors who also served as his mentor,
meeting one of my mentors, and I was like, hey, should I do this Facebook thing? And I remember the person saying, it's a fad.
Kevin turned the opportunity down. Shortly after, he ended up taking an internship at a company called Odeo, which would later become Twitter. Or X if you're a cornball. You know what? His mama called him Twitter, so I'ma call him Twitter. I'm not calling it X. But anyway, again, not seeing the potential, Kevin would leave before the rise. So here he sat, having struck out twice with platforms that would later go on to be huge money makers. Kevin needed to make his next move really count. So Kevin taught himself to make apps, and he set out to create his own new idea. Originally, his creation was called Bourbon because Kevin was an alcoholic. Nah, but seriously, I think he called it Bourbon because it was used for people to check in with their friends on where they were around the city. So maybe it was a play on the word suburban. Inspired by the popularity of Foursquare and other location-based platforms, Bourbon allowed users to post check-ins along with photos, which at the time was not a staple of social posting. Systrom secured venture funding for Bourbon and went on to recruit fellow Stanford graduate Mike Krigler, who previously worked on the social media platform Meebo. They reworked the concept to focus more on photos taken from mobile devices and renamed it Instagram, a take on the word instant and telegram. Systrom and Krigler embraced minimalism with their prototype, concentrating on images with the option to add filters, comments, and liking features. The filters were key. After a conversation with his girlfriend where she complained that her pictures never looked as good as their friends, Kevin replied, it's because they're using filters. And this is how the idea was sparked. They finalized the app in a few months, posting the platform's first photos in July of 2010. Instagram was released to the public in Apple's App Store on October 6th of 2010 and reached 25,000 users on its first day. Less than 3 months later, they had 1 million users, and from that moment they achieved escape velocity. On July of 2011, Instagram introduced hashtags to its platform. This allowed users to mark specific topics or categories when posting photos, which made it easier for others to find them. On April 3rd of 2012, Instagram released a version of its app for Android mobile phones. The app was downloaded more than 1 million times in less than 24 hours after its release. As Instagram's popularity rapidly grew, the company drew attention of various investors and potential buyers. And on April 12th, 18 months after launch, Instagram was bought for $1 billion in cash and stock by Facebook. Popularity of Instagram and the nature of its services provided brought tons of advertisers to the platform and helped launch the influencer era. Now, prior to Instagram, the term influencer was not commonly used. I mean, sure, there had been people who blew up on proto platforms like MySpace, see Tila Tequila and Soulja Boy, but calling them influencers and actually having that listed as a job title was not a thing until Instagram. For a number of years, they ruled the social media market. October of 2015, Instagram introduced Boomerang to its users. This feature allows to record short video clips and play back in a loop. Over the boom years, millions of people utilized the app, and in 2017, IG announced their paid partnership program. Instagram sat as king of the hill in the social media kingdom for a number of years, but the glory days wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. The rise of promotions prompted users to only show the best parts of their life, not really being their authentic selves. It created what's now called a social media persona. Social media was shifting the focus to how many followers you have, how many likes, and how your follower to following ratio should be. It was rewriting the brains of young people, some say. But the high times of Instagram was, perhaps unbeknownst to some, coming to an end. Over the last few years, more and more people have been complaining about the lack of perceived growth and engagement on the platform. In 2021, a survey from financial services firm Piper Sandler found that only 22% of teenagers said that Instagram was their favorite social media platform, coming in third after Snapchat and TikTok. When asking people why they are finding it increasingly less interesting to use Instagram, you tend to get similar answers. It's boring, it's too saturated, or the most common one of all, it's just too hard to grow. I personally can't even remember the last time I had posted anything on Instagram. And I used to regularly post, but at some point, it just seemed like it became pointless because I was no longer really getting any engagement on there. It was like I was screaming into the void. But why is Instagram dying? Some may chalk it up to the ever-changing algorithm that is less friendly to users, but it actually goes deeper than that. Like everything else about Instagram, the reason why so many more of its users are no longer growing or starting to lose followers can be explained by how their business model impacts the platform, and more specifically, how it impacts its users' growth. Although they claim to exist to, quote, help connect people around the world and bring the world closer together. Just like their parent company, Facebook, and all other multinationals, Instagram is a for-profit company that exists to maximize profits for its shareholders, not to help bring you closer to anybody. They make profits by capturing your attention and data through the use of apps and sell said attention and data to companies who pay them to show you ads. The more you use Instagram, the more your attention and data they capture and sell, and the more they maximize profits for their shareholders. Because of this, everything they do revolves around building an app and brand that gets used to use Instagram as often as possible for as long as possible. But we knew that already, right? The question is, why does it seem to no longer be working? While the type of content that captures our attention has gradually been transitioning from photo-based content to video-based content thanks to sites like TikTok. In comparison to everything that came before it, this type of content is by far the most engrossing content we've ever seen on social media so far, and it's changing what captures our attention. So what does this mean for the average Instagram user? Well, that growing on Instagram will only get harder and harder, and losing followers will be more and more likely. Instagram will continue to die for a larger and larger number of users, and only a small few will be able to actually capture and gain traction there. But what does this mean for the platform? Will it go the way of MySpace? Let's get one thing clear. Instagram as a company and as a product isn't really dying. Yeah, I know. We just spent the last 10 minutes speculating, but check me out. They are still growing in a way. They're still capturing our attention and making money from it. They'll be fine. They're subsidized by Meta. Just look at Facebook. They've been less relevant for way longer than Instagram, and they're still around. I foresee a similar outcome for IG too. But what do you think? Do you think that Instagram is dying? Do you still regularly post on there? Hit us up in the comment section and let us know. And if you made it this far, then we hope that you already hit the like button. And if not, what you waiting for? Go ahead and hit it now. And if you want to be updated whenever we drop a new episode, then hit the subscribe button and then the notification bell so you'll be reminded whenever a new video drops. With that being said, I'm Nate the Great from TakeFlight214.com signing out until next time. Peace.